Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. It's me, Faye. It's Sunday night. We have some news to get into and go over and have fun and celebrate. So what do we got tonight? An exciting event that we have coming up is the State of Downtown that will be happening on January 13th at 4 p.m. So that's just going to be tomorrow at 4. It will be a comprehensive conversation about what we are doing for individuals struggling with homelessness, what we need to do, and the ways that we can make sure that we can really adequately help in a sustainable manner. They'll also be probably talking about the point and count. There is a volunteer opportunity to help them out with that. Effectively, what they're looking to do is look at the actual amount of experienced homelessness right now that is happening. I think the actual day for that's the 22nd, but if you want to volunteer, there are opportunities to learn how to do that coming up in the next couple of days. If you personally can't for any reason, share it around, let your friends know. That's how we can get involved and really help people who are struggling right now and help the professionals who are doing a good job at mitigating that harm. In other news, we have an ice skating night coming up sponsored by Stonewall Sports. That is a local LGBT+ sports organization. It is open to everyone. Anyone can go. They have rented out the ice skating ring. That's January 14th at 6 p.m. with more details up here as well as on my weekly report. Moving into politics and policy, I just have one thing to tell you about, and that is this one woman is doing an incredible job at making political news engaging and fun. I think she's been talking about state Pokemon. Her name, Faye Seidler. It's me. It's Faye. It was me all along, Austin. And I've been doing a lot of work on that. I have a 5-minute show every night. There will be a show tonight at 10 talking about the bad bills that are going to happen coming up. I have a lot of different ways I'm engaging with the session to make sure that we as a state can be better. So I'll be focusing on just generally suicide prevention bills, bills that align with values of suicide prevention, and then also generally the LGBT+ bills, as people tend to know that they can come to me if they're looking for information. Like in equity news, I'm going to be sharing one of those bills right now, and that is Strengthen North Dakota. Has shared a vision for their Senate Bill 2097. This was introduced by Senator Tim Mathern, and it is actually about giving funds to rural communities. This is something that could really help bolster communities across our state. When we think about protective factors, community is a large one, and if we can get these communities to invest in projects, that has a huge impact on community health and morale, reducing stress, building hope. So these aren't just, fun little projects, they are opportunities for hope for these communities. And I just want to highlight that because I think it's really important and I think we should invest in it. In other equity news, Facebook has deleted their trans and non-binary messenger themes. That isn't a story per se, but on January 8th, they released the transparency guidelines. And what they said in that guideline was that it is okay to call trans people and gay folks mentally ill. That has since been stepped back as far as I could tell from the current policy. They are not openly saying that they allow this, but it is an example of how our LGBT+ individuals are treated differently than everyone else. That abuse is allowed to queer individuals through this idea that to help them like we would help any other person is somehow showing favoritism. It's very concerning. It's very awful. But it does reflect the reality that most queer people talk about all of the time. This is our experiences online constantly. So it's kind of cool to see that it's just there in the open that they're doing that. I don't think there's much else to say about it. It seems like they've rolled back some of that awful language. However, in practice, what actually happens is really anyone's guess. In other equity news, I want nonprofits in particular to know that you can lobby. If you have a nonprofit that says, no, we can't lobby, we can't talk to the government, we can't be political, that nonprofit is probably incorrect because you can be political, you just can't be partisan. A lot of nonprofits are lobbying organizations, and there is a difference between a 501c3 and a 501c4. There are different legal differences. Don't listen to me about, don't go out there and start doing whatever you want. But there is an hour video put out by a Foundation for Healthy North Dakota talking specifically about North Dakota lobbying laws for nonprofits. And all I will say is you can probably do a lot more than you think you can, and the nonprofits that are in our state can probably do a lot more than they are. The government is how we decide funding. It's how we decide where we want to move as a state, who needs help, the places we need to put more support into. And if you're not involved, you're left behind. If you're a nonprofit and you're not talking to legislators and talking about what's important to you, that is your issues off the table. You need to be on the table. You need to talk. If you don't know how to do this now, fine, but work into being able to do it. And here's a way to start with it. In health, social work, and education news, I just want to let you know that Indy United had a poll talking about what our individuals across North Dakota care about. It's kind of what you'd expect if you've been reading local news. We care about property tax quite a lot this session. We care about free school meals, which is good, and we don't want vouchers in our state. And then in that vein, I just want to let you know about a Facebook page about Together for School Meals. This is your main kind of center point for all of the effort that's being put into making sure that our students are able to access food. There's been some issue with like, should we means test this? Should it be open for all students? And anyone who's a professional who's doing this work, who knows the data really well, will just tell you that just like kids eat. It's not worth means testing. It's not worth anything. Sure, maybe there's going to be a millionaire and they get a few $1,000 of benefit over the couple of years because of this, but it really doesn't matter. It is more efficient and it is better to make sure all of our kids are fed. And from risk factors, feeding kids is like the best protective factor you can give, because not having that is one of the worst one of the worst risk factors on the table. We should feed our kids, and it's really cool that we might be heading in that direction. I widely support it as just a way to make sure that our kids are having at least their essential needs met. I think that's very important. For our data and resources, I just want to shout out that there's an LGBTQ plus youth report showing that our LGBTQ plus youth in North Dakota specifically are at higher risk of several different negative outcomes. This was put out by Faye Seidler. I put this press release out and it was reported on, and it was the first time I ever did that, and yay, I did it. But it's just a look at the 2025 State of the State report and how our youth are doing. There's a ton more work I have to do with that, so I've been trying to juggle 1,000 things, but I will keep on working on that, and there's going to be better opportunities for volunteering to help me out coming up in the next week, actually. So just want to give you a heads up on that. There's an AFL-CIO resource about starting a union. If you feel like that's something that would help your organization out, where you are among many workers who could maybe use collective bargaining to make sure that your organization is going to be sustainable for longer because it cares about its workers, you are able to do that. Unions are a benefit to everyone, the employer as well as the employee, because it makes sure that you have a sustainable workforce, because the workforce is treated well and sticks around. One of the things is that that's what unions do. They help every person out. So it's important for every organization to have a union if possible. That's my position. I am a union girl, though. Very strong about that. If you don't like unions, boo. Like unions. Come on. What are you? Rich? Yay, unions. So that's one of the biases I'll have on my show. And it's been clear. I've been talking about it for a while, but very pro-union. Love that people do that. I think it's good for everyone. In community news, there is a local Fargo man who won Jeopardy! Not a second time, but a first time, and that's good enough, because that's awesome that we have a local person representing our state. They didn't win on a North Dakota question, unfortunately, because that would have been cool, but they did win, and I just want to spotlight that. And for my final news, the best news of this entire everything I said today, best for last here, for my opening news segment, is that there is a person alive today because of a Fargo bus driver. Specifically, an individual got onto a bus in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and they were having what appeared to be an overdose reaction. The bus driver recognized this and was able to give them naloxone, and it prevented that, reversed that to help that individual out. The bus driver mentioned, I think, having like a military background where this is something that they had, are a little bit used to or able to do, recognize the situation and save someone's life. We talk about Narcan being life-saving, and we've done so much work to make sure that a lot of organizations have it, or people have it on them, because it can very quickly reverse an opioid overdose. This is in every way amazing. This is everything that we've said for advocacy for Narcan and having it available for individuals. This is the result of that. This person's alive today because Zach Armstrong, the bus driver, was able to do this. We often get bummed out about the world, and there are a lot of bad things that happen in it, but there are good things too. There are people who care about each other and want to help. That is always part of the story too, and the more that we step back to recognize local communities where this happens more often than the better we can feel about the world, and the better we can feel about working towards a better world. So that's what I have for you for our opening news. We're moving into two story segments, one about Umoja and the other about an opportunity to celebrate people at the YWCA Woman of the Year Award. So join me for those segments, and thanks for being on tonight. Otherwise, have a good night if you need to head off. my God, this guy's won so many awards. How that young? Not even 30? Wow, and a Bush fellow? That's crazy. Oh, hi, sorry. I didn't see you there. I'm here to talk to you about Emoja 56. This is coming up January 20th. It's going to be at 6 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. at the Fargo Theater, and it is going to be a ode, a joy, a celebration, a representation of the dream and work and life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Been hosted for many years now by the city of Fargo, Fred Dissidents, and specifically Fred Edwards. What you should know about Fred is that he is someone who is a champion of youth and does so much work to assure that the youth of our generation are growing into leaders and change makers and can be inspired to be the adults of the future, because we need that. It turns out we can't, as adults today, do this work forever. We need kids here to do it too. So I want you to know that this event tends to be a fantastic celebration of a lot of our kids that are living life right now and their reflections on what equity means, on what social justice means, and what involvement means. There's a lot of art that occurs throughout it. That could be spoken word poetry, that could be dancing, that could be music. I was there last year and it was just a fantastic lineup of talented youth, like significantly more talented than me in so many ways that I wonder, why am I doing work? Why aren't they doing my job? They should. They are also celebrating 3 individuals for awards. I believe it's an adult, an organization, and a youth. I don't have that information in front of me, but you will get to see them recognized, I believe, by the mayor and a couple other folks. So this event is happening not this Monday, but next Monday, and then it will be free to admission to come and celebrate. I recommend doing it if you can. These events are something that can inspire resiliency and hope in people to see that we have youth that are involved and invested. Something I enjoy firsthand is you can actually, you can look at the youth and how great they do, but if you look around, you might see Fred somewhere just beaming and being so proud of these kids up there. And that's actually my favorite memory of it last year, was just seeing how raptured he was at kids that were starting a legacy. So I recommend getting out if you can to see it for yourself, for others, for hope, and to keep the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. alive. A dream that we can find a world that is truly one of equity, where we have positive peace and are able to talk to and communicate each other, celebrate our differences because we're going to have them, and embrace that diversity rather than run away from it, to assure that we all have opportunities, places at the table that we can be listened to and fight for each other. There is so much more to his story than we sometimes hear in the news. There's so much more to his advocacy and fight for unions, by the way. I talked about being a union girl, so let's bring that back. But it is really incredible the work they do, and every day I think all of us, a younger generation, tries to carry that forward to fulfill the dreams that have not yet been met. So that's what I have for you. Please join this if you can. It's going to be a wonderful occasion. You're going to see something new. I'm on this side of the screen because of this image that I'm sharing. That's my background from the YWCA Women of the Year Award. So I have to be here and have this background so I can let you know about it. But this is one of my favorite times of the year because you can celebrate some woman in the Fargo-Moorhead area that is doing incredible work. There are a lot of different categories that you can elect someone for Woman of the Year. They're going to be category 1, advocating for equality. Number 2, arts, culture, and community. Number 3, business leadership. Number 4, education. Number 5, health, wellness, and spirituality. Number 6, Lifetime Achievement Award. Number 7, science, technology, and innovation. Number 8, volunteer services. Number 9, young women of today and tomorrow. And number 10, youth advocacy. I just numbered them because so you can know where there was differences, since they had a lot of words. They're not actually numbered. But you can nominate someone for any of these awards. I recommend nominating me for a Lifetime Achievement Award so I can just retire. That would be great. If I got that right now, that means I'm done, right? I'm just kidding. Don't nominate me for that, I think. But nominate someone in your life, because showing gratitude and celebrating people that we know is one of the strongest resiliency factors that we have for our lives. I have some recommendations too. One is your classic Midwesterner. When you approach them, because they have to know they're getting nominated, you kind of work together with them. They will say, no, it's fine. I don't even do that much. Don't nominate me. And you will have to convince them they deserve it. That's the hard part in Midwest. And here's how you do it. These awards are important for you and for the person you're celebrating, yes, but every person who is getting an award matters and their work matters, and this award can help them open doors up for the work that they do. That's how I've convinced most people to take this award, because I can get them to understand how it makes their ability to do their work even better. We're so humble across the state in so many ways, and that's how you trick them into actually taking the praise they deserve. This is going to be technically open until I think February 21st. However, it closes as soon as they have enough people. They are looking for, I think, 40 total. And that is 3 to 5 across each of these applications, 5 being the max. So if you have someone you want to nominate, get in there early. There's a person I tried nominating last year, and we didn't get our stuff in time, and we just couldn't get them nominated. So I will recommend, it's competitive, like get that in there now, but reach out. Even if they don't get the selection, even if they don't get the award, it matters. It matters that we reach out and support each other. So they've been doing this for over 50 years. It's one of my favorite things. I have nominated 2 different people for it, and or been involved in the process. So I've been there in 2017 and last year for First Link. So I love it. I love any times we can nominate someone. Another thing to talk about with nominations is that there is a nomination for the Arc of Justice Award for people who do human rights work for the North Dakota Human Rights Coalition. That's not associated with this stuff here, but while I'm here, there's another way you can like compliment and lift someone up. The more that we celebrate each other, the less alone that we feel. So please, 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 please share these things out. Even if you don't know someone, maybe someone does. Like maybe someone you know is like, oh yeah, actually, this person, Ashley, does fantastic work, is amazing and deserves this. So like, get out there, please share it. I'm glad I had some cool stuff to share with you tonight. My show's been a little bit weird with the end of the year and the beginning of the year, so I'm kind of getting back to normal. Also doing a ton of work with the Pulse, and I have a newsletter, so if you want to be involved legislatively, you can. But that's what I have. Thanks for joining me. I'm doing my best to make the world better. Good night. Well, thank you everyone for watching my show. That's all I have for today. I hope you have a good rest of your week. I hope we see you back here next week. Just want to give some thank yous to all the folks here who contributed to the show, who made it all a great time and informed us about the cool stuff they're doing. He will be my outro probably for a while until I choose to change it. You all have a good day. Bye.